Welcome to our 5 on 5. Please be joined today in studio by Jackson County Commissioner Rick Dyer. Commissioner, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Craig. Thanks for having me here today.
So I wanted to start with your accomplishments as 8 years in Commissioner. What are you most proud of?
Well, the one thing I think that we've done consistently throughout my 8 years on the board, is our fiscal management. We have overseen 8 straight balanced budgets. We've reduced debt. We've invested in infrastructure. We've never raised taxes, and we're increasing our reserves, so we're in excellent financial shape moving into what, with these high inflationary times and uncertain economic future, we are well positioned and well poised to take on whatever challenges come our way. And I think it's important to keep, now more than ever, it's important to keep that sort of fiscal management intact to be able to navigate the challenges that we do experience in the next few years.
And in running for re-election, what are your priorities if you are re-elected to your position?
Well, there's a few other initiatives we started that I do want to continue. Of course, one is eradicating the impacts of illegal marijuana in our communities, in our county. You may remember about a year ago, I announced the state of emergency that Jackson County declared due to the impacts of illegal marijuana. I then went on a statewide tour doing interviews, doing informational talks, and letting people know, just raising awareness about the problems and the request for the resources necessary to address the problem. I think we've made a lot of progress there. This year, with better resources for enforcement and better policies, we have been able to eradicate a lot of these grows. We still have a way to go, and we can't go back on that initiative. We need to continue with that. That's one thing I intend to do. Of course, we're looking at, again, homelessness and the greenway issues. And one thing that we've always done and we'll continue to do and try to enhance is for those folks that want to get to a better station in life, we need to continue to offer adequate and ample substance abuse and mental health treatment options, pathways to supported employment, to supported housing, and to get these folks from A to Z, have case management on it all the way to get them from the point where they are into a better station in life and off the streets permanently. But the ones that are there that won't accept the help, that as a life choice want to stay in these situations that imperil the health and safety of the rest of our community, we need to be able to deal with them appropriately as well. And that if the criminal behavior is part of that, it needs to be criminal consequences. But at the very least, we need to have the ability to remove them from the situations that do imperil the rest of our community. It's just not right, and I've heard this a lot, that our families feel like they can't take their kids to the parks in our area. And we want to be able to make, again, some progress in that area.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more with Commissioner Dyer in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Jackson County Commissioner Rick Dyer. Commissioner, the Board of Commissioners has been criticized by a bipartisan group of former and current local leaders for not taking a leadership role while the county was in a medical crisis in August 2021 at the height of the Delta variant. Their letter took the board to task for not giving, quote, strong and unequivocal support for basic health measures such as social distancing or mask wearing, end quote. Is there anything you wish the board had done differently?
Well, I could tell you this. I disagree with the assertion that there wasn't leadership at the county level. We led efforts as far as some of the largest vaccination clinics in the area. We did have strong messaging about all of the public health measures, all of the measures to reduce infection that we endorsed. One thing that I think, again, this was a very polarizing issue, and I understand where people, again, had strong emotional feelings about it. But what we did is we approached it and tried to get balanced policymaking into the equation. Policymaking that took into consideration the businesses that were affected and the long-term health impacts that come with somebody who may lose their business, the kids in school, again, the long-term impacts that we're seeing now, mental health, our education, their progress, academic progress is so far behind. ACT scores are at their 30-year low, and as far as our kids' math skills, reading skills, and writing skills are down double digits. And again, these are generational issues that we'll be experiencing, and all we were looking for is balanced policy to give that and those issues the consideration they deserved as well.
I believe it was calling, the letter was calling out individual leaders, not the county as a whole. Again, the Board of Commissioners. More than 1 million Americans have died of COVID, nearly 600 Jackson County residents, according to County Public Health. But because COVID has become so politicized, a lot of people don't believe it's real and some still don't. You don't think it's important as a leader to dispel that potentially fatal logic?
Oh, I think we did dispel that. I'd never said that COVID wasn't real, and I actually did PSAs encouraging people to take the health measures, the distancing and wearing masks. Again, what we tried to do is, again, I don't think that mandating somebody to do something was a proper way to do it. I believe people are smart enough if you give them the information, and people have their free will. If you give them good information and you tell them why, and this is the best, again, science that we have available right now, a recommendation, I think they're more likely to follow those protocols. But again, I think that the letter was either ill-informed, because I, again, did do PSAs about social distancing, about the other measures, and we also, as the Board of Commissioners and individuals, the messages that were put out by our Public Health Department were, again, endorsed by the Jackson County Board of Commissioners.
Wildfires or mental health, which is a bigger priority for Jackson County in the next 4 years if you're reelected?
Boy, that's difficult to say which one. They're both high priorities. Again, mental health is huge, and I mentioned before that we are, again, undertaking great strides to be able to deal with people in mental health, especially mental health crisis. We are part of the 988 emergency system, or the number to call. It's like a 911, but it's for somebody in an emergency or a mental health crisis. We have a team that goes out there if law enforcement isn't necessary. We send a mental health professional and a paramedic. That'll save law enforcement resources, and it may be a more appropriate way to deal with somebody in that mental health crisis situation. We're also looking at a place to take them, a 24-hour crisis center. That's something that we're looking to be able to do soon. And again, some supported mental health housing. Those are things that we're taking on at the county. As far as fires, of course, we have been working on the fire and smoke issue for years at the county. We have put together for the last several years, again, awareness campaigns to make policymakers aware that these fires with their smoke are killing us here. They're choking us out. People aren't able to enjoy the outdoors. There are health impacts. Kids aren't able to engage in their activities. And our businesses, especially some of our large tourist industries and businesses such as Brit and Shakespeare, are dramatically affected by it. My opponent once said that the forests rely on fire, and we need to change our relationship with that. I think that we need to remember that our citizens rely on clean air, our businesses rely on being able to actually do business and draw people into our area, and we can't go backward on these policies. And again, my opponent's only been here about 5 years, so she may not remember, we used to manage our forests in a way that we didn't have to just watch them burn down every summer, and we can't go back on these policies, and we have to get back to that situation.
Commissioner, thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll be right back.